Hi everyone, I hope you're doing great today. Welcome to my third art journal. If it's your first time here, my name is Julie. I study art online with New Masters Academy, and the concept of these videos is that every month I share with you all of the progress that I've made and everything that I've been drawing. Last time I was telling you that I was kind of putting aside my artistic studies to focus on some personal projects. One of them being that in September I'm going to start teaching a class about sketchbook and travel journals, so I was working on it a lot, but actually since last time I went back to my studies pretty hard because I want to make progress and I want to finish the Drawing Foundations module, which is the first module of the course curriculum at New Masters Academy, ideally before September. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but that would be great. I'm going to start with what I was already working on last time I recorded. That is my sketchbook. That is kind of an example sketchbook that I'm doing for the sketchbooking and travel journaling class. So I've been making a few more spreads, not as many as I was hoping, but I went for a few days to Savoie, which is my native region, to meet some family, and I took the opportunity to do landscapes and a few baby portraits, and I really like the baby portraits page. I've been doing those from photographs and I still quite like them. I also made one drawing from life, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, just a few pages. Then at the start of July, the figure drawing sessions that I go to closed for the summer. The atelier is closing until September, and for me, if I don't practice figure drawing regularly, I know that my skills go down very fast, and I've been enjoying figure drawing lately and I don't want to lose it. So I decided to practice during the entire summer and to practice actually much harder than I had been doing for the past month. So I started doing daily live drawing sessions, not from live, but from videos. I'm using the references at New Masters Academy, so you can actually access a lot of them on YouTube. I will put a link to the playlist if you want to use them. I'm using them directly from the website, so I may have access to a few more sessions. And I've been doing one every day. I started with a polychromos pencil, which is my favorite tool to draw, and then after a couple days I decided to switch to a ballpoint pen. And it was painful. I think at first I had a very heavy hand, but I decided to stick with it because I think it is showing me things in my drawings that the softness and the way of being less visible of the polychromos was hiding from me. So the ink is harder, I can't erase, I can't hide from my own mistakes, but I think it is very useful to learn. So I'm sticking with it. I've been skipping some days, but I've been doing a figure drawing session on most days, so I'm not sure I will be able to show everything to you. I may have to only show you the longer poses from 5 minutes to 10 or 20 minutes. I've been also doing a lot of 1 and 2 minutes, which don't look nearly as good, and I'm mostly using them to warm up and to practice gesture, and I'm having almost a different approach every time. Sometimes I'm focusing more on lines, sometimes I'm focusing more on gesture, sometimes on shapes, sometimes on form, and I tend to lose the aspect that I'm not focusing on. If I'm focusing on shape, my forms go completely wrong and I lose the solidity that I like to have. If I'm focusing on form, I lose some gesture. It's starting to be a bit stiff sometimes, and I'm kind of juggling different things, and I think I can see some progress. Unfortunately, it's not consistent. It's not like every day I get a little bit better doing this. It's more like one day I make one drawing that I really like, that I can see I did something that I wasn't able to do before, and the next day I feel like I'm going back weeks or a month, and it's very unpleasant. But overall, I think I am making some progress. I especially think that I've been making progress with the ballpoint pen. When I started, I had a very heavy hand, and I didn't think that I did, but I wasn't as gentle and soft and gradual as I am now, and I think I am achieving a better quality of line now. And yeah, I'm getting better with it, I'm getting the hang out of it, and I'm glad I do, because it's a very fantastic drawing medium. You can have a very direct approach but maintain some softness and delicateness, and it's very easy to take outside and to draw on the go. The ballpoint I'm using is this one. It's a rotring one. This is a pen that has 3 things in one, so you have a black ballpoint, a red ballpoint, and a mechanical pencil. And yeah, it's my favorite. I know that one of the advantages of a ballpoint pen is that it's cheap and easily available. I have to say that the plastic big ones are great. I like them, but I've been trying different brands and it's not always the same. This one, and specifically this one that has 3 in 1, it's lovely to work with. It's very fine. It has a fine tip, finer than other rotring pens. The downside of it is that refills are extremely tricky to find. I only found some on JetPens, which is it's a great website if you're in the US. The shipping for me is very expensive, so I may have to buy a lot of them and stock up to make up for the shipping costs, because unfortunately I wasn't able to find refills anywhere else. It takes refills that are very famous. I don't have it on the top of my head. Yeah, it's a different ink. It's a pen that is very popular for bullet journal users and planner users. They love it. It's a different ink, and I've never tried it, but I really hate gel inks. I want a true ballpoint. I want to have a little bit of friction that gives me more control over the line, and I'm very fussy with this, and I don't think this ink, it's the Jetstream ink, I remember now. I don't think it's going to work for me, so I don't want to try this one. But yeah, this is the ballpoint. I love it. Another one that I like is this one. It's the Caran d'Ache. I don't remember, but it's very, very basic one. The refills are the original one. It's a Goliath. And I have a similar sensation, not as good as this one. It's not as consistent and reliable. It's similar, but the tip is wider and I prefer this one. And then the beak is excellent as well. I've been looking kind of desperately for a brown ballpoint pen, and I tried. Okay, I don't have it at hand because I didn't like it, and so I put it away. I tried the Papermate Inkjoy ones. You can get them in sets of 10, and you have all colors, very funky colors that I don't like. I had, unfortunately, again, to buy the pack to get the brown one because it's not sold individually, except in Romania, but Romanian websites don't ship outside of Romania, and I don't speak Romanian. You have to contact them by phone to ask for shipping outside of their country, and that's getting too difficult for me. So I got a pack of 10, and the Inkjoy again has a specific ink formulation that it is still a ballpoint. It is not a gel pen, but it has a gel-like quality that allows it to flow differently, which is probably very nice if you're writing with it, but this isn't the quality that I'm looking for drawing. So unfortunately I wasn't able to find a brown ballpoint pen, which is the only downside for me of a ballpoint right now, because I prefer sepia and reddish inks. So this is the one, and I wasn't intending to go on that tangent, but here we are. So figure drawing has become part of my daily drawing routine. I usually start with it in the morning. That's the first kind of drawing that I do, and then I switch to coursework. But before I talk about what I've been doing for my new Master's Academy studies, there is one more thing that I intended to make a regular practice, but I haven't been able to fit as much as I would like to. I started a new sketchbook of Master Studies. I am copying plates from Bernard, Romain, Julien. These are a bit similar to dark plates, which you probably know about, but they are not exactly the same, and for some reason I prefer them and I wanted to draw them. So I started from the first plate. I don't have a book or anything. This is again something that I found on the New Masters Academy reference image library, and I'm just copying them from there. And my intention is to copy most of them, probably not all of them, but I wanted to start from the beginning. And I copied 2 plates. For this, I am using a black polychromos pencil. I am doing everything in this pencil. I think the plates were intended to be copied in charcoal, but I just hate charcoal. There is no way I would do it in charcoal. The sensation is just awful to me. Whereas the polychromos pencil it gives me a lot of control. It's not as easy to erase as graphite, but it gives me much darker lines, and if you don't push too hard on the page, it's still pretty easy to erase, and yeah, I enjoy it, so I am using this instead. And I think once September comes, I may stop doing the daily figure drawing sessions and instead have an hour every morning to just dedicate to these master studies. Probably not copying a plate every day, but yeah, just keeping working on it. It's a very relaxing exercise, but I'm still learning a lot from it. It is allowing me to work on my optical skills, meaning my capacity of seeing something for what it is rather than the symbol that I have in my head, and being able to translate it as accurately as possible on the page. Yeah, this purely 2D optical analysis, like this is lining up with this, and this is lining up with this, and this is this proportion, and this is this one. I am not doing it in the side size style where I would be taping the original and my page on the wall and standing always at the same distance and being extremely rigorous about it. I'm doing it just in my sketchbook with my reference on my iPad and eyeballing it, because ultimately I want to be able to eyeball things more accurately than I am now, and I don't enjoy the academical drawing process as much as I enjoy a more free-flowing but still slow and meticulous process. So that's what I'm doing for this. I don't do a grid. I don't do how do you call it, a plumb line or anything like that. I'm just copying the plate like this on my page, and yeah, I've been loving it as well. Now, in terms of coursework, I've been back to dynamic sketching after a very, very long break. I started this class in April, and I don't remember exactly when I stopped, but it had been more than a month at this point. I was in the 4th week, that is in the version that I am taking, the version that we have at New Masters Academy. The 4th week is about animal skeletons. This version, I'm saying this because I've seen that you can take this class on different platforms with different instructors, and it's also given in person in some art schools. The one that we have at New Masters Academy is taught by Charles Hugh, who is a great teacher, and it is a 12 weeks class. The first 2 weeks are focused on drawing exercises, that is all about muscle memory and handling the materials. We have some perspective exercises, putting together geometric forms and organic forms and gesture and all of these things. The third week is marine animals. Then we have animal skeletons on the fourth week. And this is where I had stopped because I wasn't enjoying this class. Weirdly enough, I kind of enjoyed the first couple weeks that are very heavy in terms of the amount of work that you have to do and very dull. You're kind of just doing lines and boxes and it's tiresome, but there is something meditative about these kinds of things that I quite like. So I didn't really hate it. I saw every line and every page as an opportunity to really slow down and focus and try to do my best and work on this muscle memory that I like working on. It's like dojo practice and I like that. Then when it came to the actual drawings, so starting on the third week, you basically have to turn for the homework 8 pages of drawings and sketches in the theme that you have this week. So this is where it started to be more and more unpleasant for me. I have to say that this course is done with very specific materials. You're using a fine liner pen and you can also use a fountain pen and some ballpoint pens depending on the weeks, but mostly you're using a fine liner pen. That could be a micron. I am using an artist's pen and you don't do any graphite underdrawing, you don't erase, it's all directly in ink with this very unpleasant black thick lines and I hate it. I really dislike working with any kind of marker and so that's a big problem for me. I was still sticking with this course because I've done courses in the past where I didn't like the materials, and because I don't like it, because I don't want to work with it, ultimately it doesn't mean that I don't have something to learn from it. And I think drawing directly in ink definitely is very formative and I have a lot to learn from that. A lot of good habits to take. It's also why I've been drawing my figures in Ballpoint recently. But Ballpoint is gentle. It's nice. This artist's pen is, I don't like it. So this is what I'm talking about. This is not as delicate of a tool. And so I don't like the materials, and the first drawing week that I did in April or May took me a crazy amount of time. For each page that I turned on, I basically had to throw away 3 pages. I was spending around 2 hours per page that I finished, so not counting all of the ones that I tossed. And it was intense. All of this work for a result that first I didn't enjoy producing. I didn't enjoy the act of drawing with this, and having to deal with my mistakes and having to work around my poor choices. And then I also didn't like the result. So for me, if I like the result of a painful process, that's okay. It makes up for the process. If I don't like the process and I don't like the result, it's difficult for me to stick with something. So the 4th week where I stopped is one that I did in fountain pen. It was slightly better. I was still spending a lot of time really refining my hatching. So I have some pages from this week, some drawings, not actual full pages, but some individual drawings that I quite like, but not all of them. And it was still taking way too much time. It's also a class for which you have to do different kinds of drawings in the same page. You do a very finished or partly finished drawing. You do a call-out and a 2D graphic study and a 3D study where you kind of try to decompose your subject into basic 3D forms to memorize and to have more control over it. So you have to do all of this on the same page and also design a title. And one of the things that made me dislike everything that I produced in this course is that I don't like my layouts. I know that there's nothing inherently wrong or very wrong with them, but I just dislike them. And yeah, nothing anyone says about it makes me like them more. It's just sometimes I try very hard and I spend a lot of time on a page, and there may be one or two drawings on this page that I like, but I will almost always dislike the layout for some reason. Something should be slightly more to the left or slightly bigger or slightly smaller, and I can't do anything about it. So this is why I took a long break from this class, and I went back to it with a slightly different approach that may not be the best. But at least it allows me to move and to make progress, and I am almost done now with this class. I am on week 10 currently. So right now, I still think, despite all of the unpleasantness that it has for me specifically, I know that some people love this class, and that's great for them, but for me it's going against all of my natural tendencies, and maybe this is specifically why I have so much to learn from it. I think this simplified, direct, energetic way of sketching is something that can enhance my art in different ways, even when I will definitely stop drawing with this. So yeah, I have to take this class. I have to go through it. So I decided to focus less on the layouts and to basically spend less time doing very delicate hatching and doing the things for which ink and this tool isn't the best. Because when you want to do something very refined and delicate and elaborate, you want to have a graphite underdrawing and to really work this out before you add delicate lines. With this only, you can't do it. So I stopped having this approach that is my more natural approach, and I decided to be sketchier with it and to focus less on my pages and producing something that I like, because I can't produce something that I like. And instead, I'm just trying to work on what the course is about. So the 3D structure, the sketching, producing a lot of work, because I think having to do 8 pages for each lesson is part of the course. It forces you to be more efficient. So I'm trying to be more efficient, more direct, more, basically dynamic sketching sums it up. So I finished my 4th week and I did the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th ones during July. So there was one about tropical animals, one about land animals, one about birds, and finally the 8th one was about trees. So I did all of this. I'm quite ashamed to show them here. This isn't the work that I'm the most proud of. I know that if I spent 4 hours on every page, I could make something that I like, but for me right now, it is not worth it to spend that amount of time on this course. I am spending just the amount of time that it takes to focus on what this class is teaching me and trying not to spend too much time on the other aspects. This isn't to make an artwork that I'm going to put on the wall. This is just an assignment and I'm strictly focusing on it. This is a very practical approach to assignments. I don't recommend it all the time. Sometimes it's good to really spend the time that it takes to do an assignment fully for your own standards, and I have done that in the past and I ended up feeling a lot better about myself. Right now, dynamic sketching is really hard for my ego, and for this reason maybe this isn't a good approach for me, because I feel bad about myself for every page that I finish. But this is how I'm doing it, and I'm just rambling, so I'm going to go to the next course, which is Sketchbook Journey. Sketchbook Journey is a live class that started a while ago that I'm currently taking. So a live class at New Masters Academy isn't pre-recorded, it is given in live. I am not doing it live, I am watching the recordings every week because for me it happens at 2 a.m. in the morning. But I'm still watching the recordings on a week-to-week basis, and I am turning on assignments on a week-to-week basis. So I've been doing a few weeks of this class. This is a master study class that is a lot of fun to do. I'm not learning really new groundbreaking concepts because these are exercises that I had been doing many times during the Drawing Foundations module at New Masters Academy. So there is nothing very new for me, but it's a good opportunity for me to practice different mediums. We do thumbnails in markers, we do graphite studies, which I don't use a lot. It used to be my go-to medium, but right now it is one of the ones that I use the less. And finally, we do gouache studies for color studies of master paintings, which is, it's a lot of fun and I've been enjoying it. And finally, since I went back to the course curriculum at New Masters Academy to try to go through as many courses as I can, I started Introduction to Inking. So if you're not familiar with the course curriculum at New Masters Academy, which you probably are not because why would you be? It is split into modules, and Drawing Foundations is the first module that no matter what you want to do, whether it is sculpture, animation, illustration, you have to take this one, so Drawing Foundations. And then Drawing Foundations is split into parts, and in each part you have multiple classes. I am currently in part 6, which is the final part of the module, and this is a part where you have to take 3 classes. One of them is mandatory, it is Finding Your Artistic Voice and Visual Style. I haven't taken it yet, I'm keeping it for the end, because I think it will be a nice touch to finish on. It's a very quick class, very unique. I'm saving this one. And then you have 8 choices in which you have to select 2 courses. So there are different courses, and my choices are dynamic sketching, which is the least natural for me, the most difficult for me, and Introduction to Inking, which is a class given by Miles Yoshida that I know I'm going to love because I love Miles' approach to drawing and materials and his way of explaining things. And I just feel good about his way of doing things, and it resonates with me. It's very natural, and so it's my second choice. I started it, and I just have a couple weeks to show you because I started it towards the end of July, and I've just done the first 2 weeks in the end of July. So this is again a 12 weeks course that starts with very tedious for most people assignments that are a lot of swatches with different mediums. So Introduction to Inking, you work with these, unfortunately. You also work with ballpoint, with a brush pen or a brush, and a dip pen. And you have to do swatches of hatching in all directions with all of your materials and turn them for your assignments. I am doing all of the courses at New Masters Academy interactively, meaning that I show my assignments to the teacher assistants and I get feedback, and then when I finish a course, I can apply for a certificate. So I am doing every single assignment just as it is stated in the assignment PDF. So I did the first 2 weeks and I enjoyed it. Actually, I loved it. I said it was tedious because it is for most people, and it can be for me too if I don't want to do it. But the way I approached these first 2 weeks was a break from dynamic sketching and a break from more complicated assignments and courses and practices that I was doing on the side. So I did my swatches in the evening, and during the day I've been a little bit sick for a couple of days and I didn't have the energy to do anything else. Plus, it's getting hot here in France. We had a bit of a heat wave. It's a very nice summer overall. It's not too hot, but we still had some very hot days. And it made me feel slow, and I enjoyed doing this during these days. So I've done the first 2 weeks in July, and I did also the third week in August, but I'm going to show this to you in the next art journal. And I am loving this class just as much as I am hating dynamic sketching, because I think I prefer slow things, careful, meticulous drawing, giving myself the time to really think about what I'm doing and finding the right movement and being in phase with my medium is something that I really, really enjoy. And dynamic sketching is not about this for me, but Introduction to Inking, it is the assignments and the way the class is made, it is giving me the space to do the thing that I love to do. Recently, I've been taking the time to make a giant spreadsheet with all of my courses, the time I have left in my plan at New Masters Academy. I am enrolled in what they call the 4-year plan. And I don't talk about it much because it's not a plan that is available anymore, so you can't get it, unfortunately, but I am engaged until 2027. And I have an excellent price for all of the courses and all of the features that I can access. So I want to finish a track of the course guide before my current subscription finishes, because when it does, it's going to get a lot more expensive for me. So I made this spreadsheet, and taking a look at everything that I still have to do is a bit daunting. I've been studying for a year and 4 months at this point, and it's a lot of work, it's a lot of energy, and I'm really looking forward to being able to spend more time working on my own things and sketching for myself and exploring materials that I really love, instead of forcing myself to stick with the method of a course. And I'm looking forward to this. But I think when studying, it is important, and I've just been saying this in a comment like 10 minutes ago, it is important to focus on what the class is about and the way it is taught and the method that is used in the class, to try to take what this class has to offer you, and then it's up to you to stick with it, to keep using it in your own practice exactly as it was if you found that it was perfect for you, or to change it, or to take bits of this and bits of that, or to not put as much effort into what it was emphasizing. For me, for example, I'm not into perspective, I'm not very much into 3D rendering. I like kind of flat graphic things, like very flat illustrations, or Japanese woodblock prints and Art Nouveau style illustrations. But I think having a sense of volume is essential to achieving great 2D things. So when they say that I have to render something in charcoal and this is teaching me volume, I do it, even if I intend to never again use charcoal and to never again use this thing. But this is teaching me something, and I'm trying to take it. I'm going on a rant again, but thank you very much for watching. I also wanted to thank you because this channel reached 2,000 subscribers, and I'm so happy about it. I'm so glad that you want to follow me here and follow my journey, and I hope that this is bringing a lot to you. So thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it if you want to see my next art journal and my upcoming videos. I'm thinking about making videos specifically about studying art online that you could apply to New Masters Academy very easily, but also other platforms if you're studying elsewhere. So my current plans include videos about how to organize yourself, how to plan for those studies, because I know that it is especially difficult when you're on your own. I would like to go to the art store to get some ink for Introduction to Inking, because I don't like the ones that I have. So I'm going to the art store. Thank you for watching, stay creative, and I will see you in the next one.